All right, for example 6, if I'm going to find the value of this plus this minus this plus this, then that would be the same as 2 bracket negative 2 plus 4 bracket negative 3 minus negative 2 squared plus negative 3 squared. And if you did it correctly, then it's going to give you negative 11. If I'm substituting in formulas, which, like I said, is going to be a really big part of this measurement unit, then I'm just going to make sure that I substitute the numbers in where they're supposed to go and then solve for the missing variable. So if I know that v is 12 and I want to calculate t, I'm going to say that 60 is equal to bracket 12t, which means that 60 over 12 is going to equal t, or that 5 is going to equal t in this case. In the second one, if s is 100, 100 is equal to 4 pi r, which means that I'm going to divide both sides by 4 pi to solve what r is. 100 divided by 4 pi, when you put in your calculator, make sure that you have the 4 pi in brackets so that it's dividing all of it out, is equal to r. And make sure you're using the pi button. Don't put in 3.14. Then I'm going to say that r is going to equal 100 divided by bracket 4 pi in my calculator. And that's going to give me 8.0. For example C, if v is equal to 95, 95 is equal to 4 over 3 pi r cubed. To get rid of the 3, I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. And I'm going to say that I have 3 times 95, and 3 times 95 is going to be 285, is equal to 4 pi r cubed. I need to divide both sides by 4 pi, so 285 divided by 4 pi is equal to r cubed, and r is going to equal the cube root of, if you put in your calculator, sometimes it will put it all under the sign and sometimes it won't, bracket 285 divided by bracket 4 pi, and then close off those brackets. R is equal to 2.8. And for the last example, in each of the following, solve for the variable indicated, then substitute the values to get the answer to the nearest tenth when necessary. So if in this formula I'm solving for r, I need to rearrange the formula in order to solve for r first. So I'm going to start by multiplying both sides by 4. And I'm going to say that 4s is equal to pi times r. Then I need to divide both sides by pi, and I'm going to say that 4s divided by pi is equal to r. I've isolated r. If I know s is 75, then I'm going to say r is going to equal 4 times 75 divided by pi. And to the nearest tenth, that's going to give me 95.5 is my r value. For example B, if I'm trying to isolate r, then I would start by dividing both sides by pi and say that a over pi is equal to r squared. And then I'm going to square root both sides. The square root of a over pi is equal to r. If I'm solving for when a is equal to 72, what I'm putting in my calculator is r is equal to the square root of bracket 72 divided by pi. And that's going to give me 4.8. For the last one, if I'm trying to isolate h, then it's pretty straightforward. The first thing is if I am dividing by 1/3, that's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of 3 over 1, which means that this, I can multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of. And I'm going to say that 3v is equal to pi r squared h, and then I'm going to divide both sides by pi r squared, which means that 3v over pi r squared is going to equal h. H is going to equal 3 times 20 over pi times 9 squared. When I put this in my calculator, I'm going to say that it's going to be on the top bracket 3 times 20 divided by, on the bottom bracket, pi times 9 squared. And that's going to give me a height of 0.2.